She never could have imagined that just one light smack to her husband's face would send him into an unbearable itching fit, scratching frantically at his skin like her hand had been dipped in poison. Panicked, his wife rushed to stop him, but after calming down for barely a minute, the intense itching came roaring back. Terrified, she gripped his hands tightly and didn't let go until he finally dozed off, only then turning off the lights to sleep. But when morning came, Lisa was frozen in shock at the sight before her. Her husband's hands were covered in blood, his face scratched beyond recognition. Before she could even process what she was seeing, he jolted awake from his sleep. Strangely enough, he had absolutely no memory of what had happened the night before. Lisa frantically cleaned and bandaged his wounds, and her husband hurried off to work in a daze. At first, Lisa didn't think too much of it, but as she headed to the kitchen to make breakfast, she spotted a trail of bloody footprints on the floor. Even more disturbing, the trail led all the way back to the bedroom. Heart-pounding, Lisa followed the bloody tracks to the bedroom, only to find their dog cowering under the bed, as if it had witnessed something horrifying during the night. But even this wasn't enough to put Lisa on high alert. Soon enough, night fell again. To keep her husband from clawing at his face, Lisa put cotton gloves on him. She thought that would solve the problem, but when the clock struck the early morning hours, her husband suddenly climbed out of bed in an eerie, puppet-like way and walked to the living room. Sensing something was terribly wrong, Lisa rushed after him, only to find him standing at the fridge devouring raw meat and raw eggs. Even more horrifying, he swallowed raw fish whole. She tried desperately to stop him, but it was like he was being controlled. There was no holding him back. The sight made Lisa's stomach turn, but the horror wasn't over yet. Suddenly, her husband appeared behind her and started guzzling water straight from the faucet. Even the dog started barking in terror, and that still wasn't the worst of it. When Lisa followed her husband back to the bedroom, she found him opening the window. She rushed forward just in time to pull him back from the windowsill. It wasn't until he collapsed on the floor that he finally snapped out of it. Strangely, he had no recollection of any of it. Desperate for answers, Lisa took her husband to the hospital the next day. The doctor said Lisa's husband likely had sleepwalking disorder, which explained why he was doing dangerous things in his sleep. But with proper treatment, the condition should improve quickly. The first thing they did when they got home was lock up all the sharp objects, install safety bars on the windows, and make sure he took his medication before bed. The next morning, seeing her husband still sound asleep in bed, Lisa finally felt herself relax. But when she got up to wash her face, she found the living room trashed. Alarm bells going off in her head, Lisa rushed to the fridge and flung open the door and froze in horror. Their dog was inside, frozen to death. The shock was so severe that pregnant Lisa went into early labor right then and there. With a new baby in the house, Lisa had no choice but to put her husband in a sleeping bag, the kind that's easy to get into but nearly impossible to get out of. But even that wasn't enough to ease her mind. She was terrified he might do to the baby what he'd done to the dog. So she secretly started increasing his medication dosage. Still worried about the baby's safety, she took the baby and locked herself in the bathroom to sleep. But she'd barely drifted off when she heard footsteps outside, followed by knocking on the door. Lisa trembled in fear. Thankfully, the knocking stopped after a while. Once everything went quiet outside, Lisa slowly cracked open the bathroom door, and what she saw made her jaw drop.